I'll just do it to the computer. Okay. I'd like to give a very warm welcome to everyone here. We are in the second session of the Speechcraft. We had one session last week on 3rd of May. And the Speechcrafters here are Caroline, Delma, and Monica. So let's give a huge round of applause to the 3 Speechcrafters who actually took the decision to jump in to this course and basically deal with the fear of public speaking. I think what happens generally is people just ignore that, or people know about it but don't take any action. But here we have 3 brave people who have taken the action and who are actually going to do the icebreaker today as well. So congratulations for preparing for the icebreaker. How we are going to run is we are 6 minutes late, but it's okay. I think we have agreed in the last meeting that we could probably go maximum up till 9:30. And if it's okay with everyone, new joiners here today, is 9:30 okay as an end time?
Yep.
30 minutes extra. Okay, thank you very much. I would like to invite Helen Keenan, who is actually the founder member of Athlone Toastmasters. So she is a very experienced Toastmaster. And thank you very much, Helen, for joining the Speechcraft session today and taking us through the topic session. As requested, we would like to encourage the Speechcrafters to take up the topics and take it as a warm-up exercise before your speech, so that you're kind of prepared for the speech. So over to you, Helen. Huge round of applause to Helen.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Mr. President. I have to say I welcome all the new people. I was going to, first of all, you were asking me to ask the new people, the speakers, to speak, and I was going to leave them alone to let them be ready. So do they want to speak before they do their speeches? Caroline, Monica, and Delma, would you like a topic?
Yes.
Yes, Delma?
Would I like a topic that
Yes.
you want to present?
Yeah, just you could speak for 1 or 2 minutes on this topic.
That we would.
Would you like me to give you a topic?
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Yes, would you like one?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, and then we have Monica, would you like a topic? Yes, everybody likes a topic. That's fine with me. I would be delighted. I'm going to start off our topic with our esteemed Keenan, because we have a very, very special person with us today, Siobhan. And Siobhan has, if you copy Siobhan, you're just going to be a winner. So copy Siobhan, listen to her. Siobhan, I have a very interesting topic for you today. Bill Gates and his wife are the 4th richest people in the world. They separated this week. Are they living proof that money does not make us happy? Siobhan.
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. Wow, no pressure on me at all now with that introduction. I hadn't heard that they had separated, and now I'm rather excited that Bill Gates is available. That makes me wonder, where is he now? But with regard to your question, is this proof that money can't buy happiness? I never thought that money could buy happiness. There's a saying that goes, money can't buy happiness, but it can perhaps lessen, what's the expression? It can lessen, it can allow us a more comfortable form of poverty. No, I forget. It was something like that. But can it buy us happiness?
I tell you, it makes misery more enjoyable.
That's it, Helen. But I think, no, I think love, I think if anything, and it could be, I don't know the ins and outs of Bill Gates and Melinda Gates' relationship, And I think none of us ever do know the ins and outs of anybody's relationships. But I think there is always a chance that, to the contrary, excessive amounts of money can cause a lot of problems in relationships. Because I imagine people might be wondering, if they're very wealthy, if somebody is choosing to stay with them or be with them because of their money and not because of who they are. So I can see how money there could complicate things in certain ways. But with regard to, can it buy us happiness? Definitely not buy us happiness. I would never depend on money for my happiness, but it might help me to survive and to exceed a certain level of misery. Thank you, Topics Master.
Thank you, Siobhan. Anybody else like to come in on that one? No. Okay, thank you very much. The Sudocrem factory was started in Baldoyle by a chemist in Dublin. It has been a mother's salvation for a very, very long time. I'm sure you've all come across Sudocrem in your lifetime. Will we miss it off our shelves? And what will our mothers do for our babies? Nappy. And cuts on their knees and all sorts of small ailments. We always reach for Sudocrem. What will we do now? Anna.
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't actually like or use Sudocrem. Not for my not for my babies, nor for myself. The reason being, I never actually found it worked. What I use is a different kind of ointment that for me is a miracle worker, like Sudocrem for others, that doesn't really exist in Ireland. It's something that my mom keeps sending me in the post because it's so good for nappy rash, for any sort of kind of baby ailments. I suppose. Oh, I stopped myself so saying I suppose, Siobhan. Okay, sorry about that. Yes, so no, I don't actually use it, which makes it hard for me to respond to the question, what will mothers do without it? But if I didn't have the ointment that I actually use, which is the same for me as Sudocrem for others, I think it would be way, way harder for me to get rid of many things that kind of happened to my baby. And yes, I believe that's it. That's the answer to the question. Thank you very much, Helen.
Okay, thank you very much, Anna. I'm going to ask Caroline. Caroline, can you tell me, where would you like to visit now that you are free and easy from all the restrictions? Where would you go in Ireland first?
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. I think I'd have to go to Donegal, to Glenveigh National Park, because it's just such a fabulous place. I've been there once before, and I just love to go back there to visit. It's very beautiful. I don't know if anyone from the group has been there, but it has got a lake and eagles flying around, and it's just very scenic and lovely. And Prince Charles took Camilla there when they came to visit.
Okay. Thank you very much, Caroline. Thank you. I'm going to ask Monica. Monica, when they lift the restrictions again and we can fly away, what country would you like to visit? Are you muted?
We can't hear you, Monica.
Can't hear you. Okay, Monica. Monica, I will come back to you. I will come back to you. Delma, can I ask you that question?
Oh.
Where would you like to visit foreign when we have all these restrictions lifted? What country would you like to visit?
Well, we were talking about this today in the family and wondering about a rail trip. Perhaps we're playing around with maybe taking a rail trip to landing in Munich, taking a trip to Strasbourg and Vienna,
Wow.
or landing in Paris, going over to Munich and then back up to England and visiting friends in London. So it's like tasty bits in different countries, not just one. We had the idea that a rail trip would ease the travel that we usually take, which is of doing car hire and driving on the continent on the right hand side, which adds to stress and strain. I hear in our Rotary Club, we had a presentation by someone who had taken a rail trip all around Europe and had a wonderful time and found that the prices were very good and was very enthusiastic about the whole process of traveling by train around Europe. So I think that's quite attractive. I'm also quite torn these days with, as a member of the Green Party, where I am getting doubtful about taking long distance travel because of the effect on the environment of taking long distance plane flights. And though I've done lots of those in the past, I'm beginning to think that's not a good idea. That's me.
Thank you very much indeed, Delma. Samesh, have we enough time left? Have I overtaken my time?
Yeah, I would say we can go to the next part, if that's okay.
Okay, thank you all very much for replying to my topics. I hope you enjoy them, and I am looking forward to the speeches. Thank you all very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Helen, for a great set of topics. Monica, is your audio working now? Maybe we can just test if you are okay. Do you want to unmute and check? No, she's not able to hear also, it looks like, is it?
I think she's frozen now. Oh, wait.
No, video is okay, I think. It's the audio. You can probably maybe take out, maybe use the direct audio of the computer, maybe. It might work without the headset.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you can probably continue with this.
Yeah, I think it's better. I'll continue this way. So yeah, thank you, Helen, for the question. So that's a very interesting question, and I really would like to go to my country. I'm from Mexico, and I haven't been there for 2 years and a half. So it's very hard for me to stay here and not be able to travel there. As soon as it's possible to visit my family, so I would like to go there straight away and visit all the beautiful places that we have there with the nature, but most of all visit my family, because I miss a lot of. So yeah, so that's me. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Monica. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Right, I hand you back to Samash.
Thank you. Are you seeing the screen?
Yeah.
We have finished the conduct table topics. Helen, thank you very much for that. I just wanted to speak a little bit about, there is an educational discussion that needs to take place about introducing a speaker. And this is what the Toastmaster role in a normal Toastmasters club meeting. they do this. They run the program from the beginning to the end, and they introduce the speakers. In Toastmasters, there are two different things that we do in each and every club meeting. The first thing is in terms of the roles that needs to be done in each and every meeting. So there would be a Toastmasters role who would run the meeting from the beginning to the end. Then the topics master, as Helen has given the topics. Then we would have a grammarian and R counter role. Grammarian would look into the aspects of the use of the language, and R counter role looks into how the filler words are being used by different people. The filler words are words that we use instead of pause, because we are afraid of pausing. When we are speaking, we think that we should continuously speak, but that's not needed really. What is needed is speak and give the pause where it is needed instead of saying, you know, I suppose, So all these, there are a lot of so. So that's probably my favorite filler word, so. I've been called by many people that that's my favorite filler word. So everyone has their own. And in Toastmasters, we try and understand what those filler words are by being aware of it. And then slowly, instead of using those filler words, we use pauses. That's the R counter role. And then we have other roles like the speech evaluators, the general evaluator who would evaluate the whole meeting, how the people did the roles and how the speech evaluators evaluated the speakers. So that's the role of the general evaluator. This is basically what I wanted to share in 2 minutes about the roles. Now, next we go to the part that you all have, Caroline, Delma, and Monica. I think you have put in a lot of efforts over the last few days in terms of your icebreaker speeches. So congratulations on putting in the effort and coming today to give us that speech. We are really looking forward to it. And after the speech, we will have the evaluation. Caroline's evaluation will be done by Joe, Delma's evaluation by Anna, and Monica's evaluation by myself. Then you will get to know how an evaluation is done as well. And after that, we will have an educational discussion. I will show a set of slides about speech organization, knowing our purpose, and how to give and receive feedback. So the idea is that today you will see how we are evaluating, we are doing the speech evaluations. And in the next meeting, you would come with your own speech and you would try and evaluate your fellow speechcrafter in the next session. Okay, so now we go to the third part of the program today, and that is the most important meaty part of the program today, which is icebreaker speeches. And I would like to invite Caroline Curran with a speech entitled A Journey of Discovery. Please give a huge round of applause to Caroline Curran, A Journey of Discovery.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and fellow Toastmasters and Speechcrafters. Enlightened trial and error succeeds over the planning of the lone genius. That quote from IDEO, a leading design thinking organization, uses human-centered techniques to solve problems in a creative and innovative way. Empathy is at the core of the process. In this speech, I will take you on my career journey so far, what I've learned and what knowledge I've gained. Having just completed a joint professional diploma in transversal skills, I just thought I felt the need to share. It became evident during the course I was on, conducted over Zoom, that I needed to concentrate on building up my conversational skills in order to become more effective. I would like to increase my connections with people, meet new friends, and develop both professionally and personally. Building a good rapport is key in collaboration. I have a Bachelor of Science Honours degree from Oxford Brookes University and property was an interesting choice. I trained in London as a chartered surveyor, and I was trained to sketch every apartment and building I went into when I was doing valuations. As you can imagine, this was a great experience in dealing with my specialism, which was high value homes in central London. Confidentiality was paramount in all my dealings, and my job was enjoyable, but I returned to Ireland during the Celtic Tiger because I miss family life. I returned to Ireland and started doing valuations for loan security purposes, firstly in Dublin, then nationwide. I was self-employed, my own boss, working for mortgage holders, banks, building societies, and builders and homeowners. I had the key skills of adaptability, flexibility, and I was results driven. There was something lacking though. Then the recession hit. I had no income coming in. Then there was something really lacking. I had to adapt quickly, move back home to the family home in the countryside and start again. Since then, I have worked in many different jobs, both in the public and private sector, mainly in administration roles related to the property industry. I like working with people and inputting in teams where my input is valued. I've learned to be culturally well equipped and work in diverse workplaces, from experience in dealing with irate customers in the housing department to the responsibility of coordinating submissions and reports for a semi-state body. What I came to the realization is that I lacked empathy and that people are key. And that when I was involved in property, I knew everything about property. I was continuously learning. It was a continuous professional development, but I was concentrating on the job and not on the people involved. Conversational skills did not come easy to me, but because I knew a lot about the work I was involved in, I could communicate and provide advice in what I was specialized in. Building relationships is key. I have joined Toastmasters Speechcraft course as a result in order to build on my ability to try and connect with people on a deeper, more meaningful level. Enlightened trial and error succeeds over the planning of the lone genius. What this means is that by collaborating in groups, by being prepared to fail and fail often, we will succeed over the lone genius. And this is why I have decided to change and to join Toastmasters as a stepping stone for success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline, for a great icebreaker speech.
Thank you.
What we could do is we could actually have 1 minute break here and give feedback directly to Caroline in terms of how the speech went. You can use the chat and can give Caroline a message. Let's give 1 minute for that. Thank you very much, everyone. Now we go to the second icebreaker speech of this evening with a speech entitled Happy Holidays. Please welcome Delma Sweeney onto the virtual stage. please unmute yourself, Delma. Thank you.
There we go. Okay. Right. Would you like to have reasonably priced holidays in interesting places? If you do, here's how. You can exchange your home for a holiday in any part of the world. There are a number of exchange agencies who offer this service. The one we have been using for 30 years or so is Intervac. This exchange service was started by teachers. For me, this was reassuring as the enterprise was a genuine interest in facilitating holidays and having exchanging homes rather than a profit-making enterprise. Nevertheless, I was nervous when we made our first exchange with a couple in Stockholm. I was very reassured to find that when we returned home, the only sign that there had been anyone in our house was finding some empty Guinness bottles under our bed. So we exchanged our main home for many years. And this did require a big cleanup and some decoration. But since we have bought a cottage, our cottage in Lismore, County Waterford, exchanging this second home has been much easier and a much simpler affair. No longer are having to store personal matters while we are in an exchange because we don't keep our such belongings in the cottage. Last year, we had a holiday in Dromahair, North Leitrim. Who knew that this part of the world was so attractive? The village had a picturesque coffee cum pub with outdoor seating, and a walk along the river Bonnet from our exchange home led us to the ruin of a monastery, Creevila, a medieval Franciscan friary and national monument, which was shut down by Cromwell. Two of our family canoed out to a lake, Lochgill, on the lake of Lochgill to an island where they had a picnic at sundown with a group. Then we had we spent a whole day enjoying the bird sanctuary, flying eagles and their flying owls, falcons, and eagle show. That's this last year. In 2019, we were contacted through Intervac by an artist who lived in an apartment in Greenwich Village. This apartment was designed by I.M. Pai, a famous Chinese architect, and there was a large Picasso sculpture in the square outside the building. Our view from the 23rd floor showed the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, and the vista of Manhattan out in front of us. And at night, this view was quite spectacular. You can imagine what a wonderful time we had in New York. The year before that, we exchanged with a family who had a holiday home high in the Dolomites, north of Venice, Italy. We had clouds sail past our window. Cattle with cowbells joined us, passed us on the lane that went past our house. Deer wandered by. We could see the sea in the distance. Friends joined us for this holiday, and one event had caused us much hilarity. On a visit to a restaurant which was high up on the hill from our house. The first night we visited, the menu was handwritten and we could not make out what was the food. However, our friends chose a huge steak, which they shared between them. The next night we visited, and a friendly Italian translated the menu. The steak that they had eaten was donkey. So the rest of us were quite amused. I don't know how I'm doing with time at this point. Do we get a green and a red notice?
Green, yellow, red.
I'm still able to go?
Yes,
Yep.
until
Okay.
red.
Okay. In 2017, we had an exchange with a couple in a house near the Gorge de Verdun in France. And one of the events of that holiday was the day before we left, the couple contacted us and said, could their friend camp in the orchard in front of the house? So we said, of course, come and tell him to come and meet us, which was in a cafe pub in the village. So he arrived to meet us, and thereupon came an enormous thunderstorm, which the kind that happens in France. So we couldn't let him stay in the orchard in this downpour, and said he had to stay with us inside the house. The man had no English whatsoever, so we spent the evening with him and ourselves communicating in our pidgin French, and that was most enjoyable. So these are some of the delights we've experienced through Intervac. The only cost is the agency cost and the cost of the plane fare or car. So you see, the world is your oyster. Why not try it?
Thank you very much, Delma, for a very interesting speech, icebreaker. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Can I please request that we give 1 minute of time and give Delma feedback? We can use the chat function and give the feedback directly to Delma. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving the feedback to Delma. Now we go to the next speech of the evening, the third icebreaker of the evening, with a speech entitled Adventure Soul. Please welcome Monica to the virtual stage.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So, adventure souls. So, adventures definitely is one of my favorite words put into practice. Who doesn't like to have adventures, no? That give us color, flavor, and sense to the life. I have many adventures in my life, from simple ones like traveling from home to work in a rush hour in a very big city with thousands of people around me, and others like jumping from a plane at 5 kilometers high, and then with 1 minute of a free fall. So that's crazy. Till other type of adventures like travel alone to another continent. So yeah, my name is Monica Medina Salazar. I just studied computer science. I have a master's degree in IT management. I've been working in IT for more than 12 years. And currently I love in Ericsson, and I really love programming and give solutions to the world, especially to this type of network communication around the world. I think this is something very exciting. And also taking this career is a real adventure for me, because I need to keep going, studying the technologies. Those technologies are changing all the moment, every time. So this is an adventure just thinking in that. But I also have other type of adventures, like especially those ones related to the nature or animals. I like to explore and be there, or going to the rainforest. But I have one which is was very special for me, and it was a few years ago when my family and I visited Cancun, which is a really nice place in Mexico, in the southeast of Mexico. It's very famous for its white sand and the turquoise long beaches. So those are very nice. So we were having a very nice holidays there in a hotel, all inclusive, just enjoying the moment and be relaxed there. When we met a friend who gave us he recommended us to go to visit some places, restaurants, and some activities. And at that moment, he told us, why you don't go and take a eco-friendly tour to swim with the whale sharks, because that was a season of whale sharks there. So I say, like, okay, we were thinking for a while, but after a while we decided to go. So we bought the tickets, and next day we were there in the port, just be ready, signing some forms and taking all these instructions from the guy. And then just we boarded the boat. And yeah, the trip started. It was with, there were many boats going in looking for the whale sharks, because nobody knows where they are. No? So that was like each boat has a special area to cover in the ocean, and as soon as the one boat find the float of whales, send the location by radio to the other boat, so the others can arrive to the same place and start the activities there. So just we in the boat, the captain was just driving full speed the boat, so we were like jumping and going very, very fast there in the sea. And so it happened. It passed half an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we still were there in the middle of the ocean. And I said, oh my God. At that moment, I just start to feel a bit scary, because I say, I didn't see anything around, just blue, the sea. And I say, oh my God, what happened if the boat just breaks here, or I don't know, something happened? How we are going to go back to the port again? And yeah, so I was thinking a lot of things. But fortunately, 20 minutes later, we found the whales. And so when we arrived to the place, there were already 5 big whales in that space. Those were big ones. So the guide gave us the instructions. We were able to jump just 1 pair per boat, and we cannot be less than 2 meters from the whale. So we just jumped there into the water, and then I just see behind me was coming a big whale shark with the mouth fully open, and I was like, oh my God, it's really crazy, that feeling, no? So I was able to swim away from the whale, but when the whale was swimming beside me, so I start to snorkel and swim as well for a while, and that was a really, really amazing feeling, no? So I feel like a connection to the whale. It's to the ocean, because I felt very small there, just in the middle of the ocean, because I was swimming with the whale for a while, and then I just saw how the whale swam into the deep of the ocean, and then until he disappeared. And I say, oh my God, I don't know what is all around here, you know? So yeah, that was a really good feeling. Then we go back to the port, and so I was just thinking and enjoying all that feeling. And after that, so yeah, I really think in this moment very nice, and I really enjoyed that. No, and I think in real life, every day is an adventure, and an adventure definitely is a way to learn, and we need to be brave and bold and try different things. And for me, especially that day, I experiment a kind of connection, not just to the whale or to the ocean, so also to my inner self. And I think that was something really nice. And yeah, I really want to make adventures all around the world. And my question is, what's your next adventure? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Monica, for a really entertaining speech. It's really great. You took us on a journey. Can we give 1 minute so that we can give feedback to Monica on her icebreaker speech? Thank you. Thank you all very much. According to the agenda, we were thinking of having the evaluations now, but what I'll do is we'll actually go into the, just so that the evaluators get a little bit more time to give the evaluation, I will do the presentation of what's going to happen next in the Speechcraft. Are you seeing the screen?
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yes.
something that has been taken from the Speechcraft portal that you have access to. And I hope you are going through the portal. Have you gone through the portal, Monica, Delma, and Caroline?
Mm-hmm.
You're going through it? Yeah, very good. So this is something from the portal which actually gives information on what the next assignment is in terms of the Speechcraft. The next is in terms of know your purpose. I think we have already done this in terms of the Speechcraft, in terms of the icebreaker speeches that you have done today. You had some purpose behind the speech. So this is to kind of hone more on understanding what the purpose is. How do we do this? We define, we choose, we organize, and we plan. Right. So these are the 4 steps. And different ways of speeches. There are different types of speeches that we have. One speech is to give the information. Another speech could be to persuade someone, to a call to action speech, as they call it. The third type of speech could be an entertaining speech. where we just give some entertainment to the audience. And the fourth type of speech is inspirational speech. So these are all the types of speeches that we can give. And then in terms of the purpose, so there are different, you could have a point of view, you could be specific in terms of your wordings. What do we want to attain from the speech? What do we want to give to the audience? And we could actually give an example. Right? So considering the audience is quite important. And in terms of the demographics is what kind of audience are we catering to? What kind of point of view do we want to present? What's our focus in the speech, and what is the value that we are going to give to the audience? The most important thing is to understand, whenever we are giving any speech, to understand that we are actually there to provide value to our audience. If we go to the public with that in mind, we won't be afraid, because in the heart of hearts, what I'm saying is, I want to provide value to the people who are listening to me. And that is what is needed in a speech. And then there is the reliability part, validity part. All this is in your Speechcraft portal, but I'm just reiterating it here, basically. So the next step is prepare, practice, and learn in terms of know your purpose speeches. So concentrating on what we discussed here in terms of what kind of speech do you want to present? Is it an informational speech? Is it an entertaining speech? Or is it a speech to persuade others or inspire others? So we can just think about that. And then we can have your speech next time, know your purpose speeches. And that could be 5 to 7 minutes instead of 4 to 6 minutes. You could have one more minute, one extra minute on the lower side and one extra minute on the higher side. And the next part that I wanted to cover was in terms of giving and receiving feedback. And this we can actually practically see now, right? So what we'll do is we'll actually do a practical evaluation session now, where, as we said, we are going to see how the evaluations are done by our evaluators. So we have the evaluators here as, are you seeing the screen?
Mm-hmm.
We have the evaluators that we said is, for Caroline, we said Joe will evaluate, Delma, Anna, and Monica, myself. So to evaluate Caroline's speech, please welcome Joe Connor to the Speechcraft stage.
Thank you, Toastmaster, Speechcrafters, and club members, and most especially Caroline. So just to start off, just to fill any gaps there, the purpose, of course, Caroline, for an evaluation is to build the speaker. It's not about the evaluator themselves, although there's competition for that, and we have a prize-winning evaluator in Emirates. Sadly, that's not me, but I'll give it my best shot anyway. So the purpose of your speech was to get you started on the road. You did exactly that. And just to read from the evaluation form itself, the purpose of this project is for you to introduce yourself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. I think you did both of those very well, because we got a good insight to where you started to where you are now. And so there was a logical thread throughout your speech. There was very much a beginning, middle, and end. And it's very, very apparent that you're goal-oriented, and you seem to be very analytical and self-aware. That really comes across well. And I noticed that you use any filler words, which is fantastic. Your pace was nice and steady, and there was pausing throughout, which was very effective, and you didn't fill that with a filler word. So no ums and ahs, very well done there. And just to go through a couple of the aspects that go into every speech and add to its effectiveness. So I want to talk about your clarity in the spoken language. So you're extremely clear, and out of a possible 5 out of 5, I would give you a 4 on that because it was excellent. Vocal variety, that's I'll come back to that. Eye contact is another thing that I want to come back to, in gestures, but I want to talk about audience awareness, because I could certainly see that you were paying attention to the screen and the panel of guests in front of you, and so you're looking for that visual feedback loop, and that's your awareness of your audience and how you're captivating them. On terms of your comfort level, I would have to say you didn't look at all uncomfortable. I can tell you, though, that you're outside your comfort zone, which is an excellent thing, because in order for you to grow, you have to be pushing the boundaries of that comfort zone. And you did that, but you did it with confidence. Or probably not confidence, you'll do it with confidence next. You did it with self-belief, and that's very important. From an interest point of view, we got to know you. So we've learned a little bit about you. We've learned something today we didn't know yesterday. So there, you're getting buy-in from your audience. You got audience engagement. So a couple of things I want to talk about. You see, with an evaluation, we're here to build a speaker, which means, you know, giving them praise for all the things that they've done. But we do, and we sometimes are told to avoid a bit of critique in the icebreaker. I don't share that belief, because I think critique is one of the things that helps build people, make them absolutely better. So just one thing I would like you to work on in the next speech is, now it's quite difficult over Zoom, but it's eye contact. Now there are a couple of little things, but that would be, if you could beat that one, I think that would make you just another level up in the next speech. And one of the ways to do that, now I know you were reading notes there, but finding a good place to put your notes. So if you had some kind of a stand that you could put just above the camera behind your laptop or whatever device you're using, it just means you could take in a few lines and almost immediately, instantaneously revert back to the camera and make that connection with your audience. So that would be my challenge to you. Make eye contact first, if possible, over the Zoom, and you know, everything else will fall into place after that. And there are projects that will work on all the other elements. But all in all, I thought you did extremely well, and congratulations on making the first step, Caroline.
Thank you very much, Joe, for the evaluation. So you would have seen how the evaluation is done. Generally, we call it a sandwich approach, the evaluation, and it's also called CRC. So we commend the speakers on all the positive points, and in between we have a recommendation of what can be done better. And in the end, we again end on a positive note. This is the prescribed method of evaluation, and it works every time. The most important thing is to encourage the speaker in what their positives are, and help them to bring up their speaking capability by giving some points that they can work on. These are the 2 important points. Now, Anna, are you okay? Or probably it looks like you are in a...
But no, I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
You're sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll manage.
Or maybe I think if you want to take it easy, it's okay. We can probably... Francis, were you listening to Delma's speech?
I'm sorry. Don't worry about it.
You're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's welcome Anna to give the evaluation for Delma's speech. Huge round of applause.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. First of all, could I please have the time for Delma's speech, Madam Timer? I can't hear you, Siobhan.
It's switched off.
Please unmute.
Sorry, Anna, the time for Delma's speech was 6 minutes, 25 seconds.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Madam Timer. That was very good timing, Delma. Thank you for sharing your holiday adventures with us. That was a well-delivered and a well-prepared speech. The purpose of your speech was to introduce yourself to us, and you've achieved that goal brilliantly. You gave us an insight into your life by presenting an interesting aspect to your life, but you also introduced us to a concept some of us might have never heard of, like home exchange. Another objective you had was to learn the basic structure of a public speech, and this you also succeeded at. Your speech had a clear beginning, it had a main body, and it had a clear end, which was fantastic. So well done. I thought it was particularly effective the way that you engaged the audience from the start by asking us an interesting question. It straight away made us think. And you used a great variety of vocabulary. I especially liked phrases such as facilitating holiday or a profit-making enterprise. Your speech was also funny when you talked about the empty bottles or the donkey steak, for example. You could tell that the audience was really engaged in your speech because everyone laughed at the right moments. So they were clearly listening to you, which is fantastic. I didn't see you employ any gestures. Now it could be Zoom, but your voice was well modulated and it was clear. You used speed very well and you were easily understood by the audience. You also had good eye contact with the audience for the first half of your speech, but then I think you focused on the notes in front of you and you lost that contact for a while, only to regain it again towards the end. So well done. I'm not sure whether you remembered that you needed to do it or was it just a coincidence, but either way it worked. The world is your oyster, why not try it? I absolutely loved this ending. It made me smile straight away and it made me dream of what's to come. So thank you very much. I'll have a nice evening dreaming about everything that's ahead. And to summarize, I was very impressed by your delivery altogether. I saw some great things in your speech, and I also see a potential for continued growth as you focus on things such as eye contact and gestures. So keep up the good work on vocal variety and a wide range of vocabulary. And I look forward to hearing more of your excellent speeches in the near future. Thank you very much, Delma.
Great multitasking there, Anna. You managed to keep the...
Thank you, but he actually went silent, so it was nothing to do with me.
He's doing a great job as well by cooperating. An excellent evaluation as well, as usual. Thank you so much for your evaluation. Right, and the third speech was Monica's Adventure Soul, and I will try and evaluate Monica's speech. Great title, Monica. In terms of the title itself, if the title is attracting the people in terms of what is going to be inside the speech, that's a great beginning. So Adventure Soul is a title that really is attractive because some people like adventure, some people hate adventure, but either way, you cannot ignore adventure. If you don't like adventure, the life will give some kind of adventure and you have to actually go with it. For example, the last 1 year, it's an adventure for the whole world, an adventure of a different kind, unfortunately, but nevertheless an adventure. So great title. And in terms of the beginning, how you informed about yourself. And the great thing that I liked about your speech was you were talking about adventure, about the real adventures, and then you connected it with your career, the software programming, and then you said that's another type of adventure. So this is really great in terms of giving the transitions. I really thought that the transitions happened quite naturally in your speech, and it felt as if you were just talking to another person. It did not actually feel like you were doing a public speech. And this is really great attribute for any speaker. If a speaker can speak and just speak as they're speaking with another person on a stage, nothing better than that. Everyone will get connected to the speaker that way. And you did it, absolutely. And the way you have given the description of your story about going for the whale, going to the adventure of in the ocean, and the whole description that you gave about each of the incidents that happened, you were actually bringing us on that journey. You know, how you described about being in the ocean and looking for the whales, and describing how small you felt in front of the ocean and the huge whales. Everything, all those descriptions that you gave was amazing. It really brought us on that journey with you, on that adventurous journey. So really great. So what I would really commend you on is in terms of the style that you have of talking like a conversation. So keep it up, keep that style. And also the transitions that you're bringing in your speech about how you're relating the adventure aspect everywhere. And the end as well, amazing end. You actually asked a question in the end. What adventure are you looking for? So that was really amazing way to end. So you're ending, you're asking a question, and then the audience is thinking, oh yes, they're thinking more about your topic. So amazing icebreaker, really great. Generally for icebreakers, we don't give recommendations. But if I wanted to give a recommendation in terms of improvement, what I would say is probably try and maybe slow down a little bit and try and concentrate on pauses. But this comes with experience. The more we keep giving speeches, the more we get better at it. But they are very small points. So I would like to congratulate you for a really entertaining speech. And we look forward to your next set of speeches. Thank you very much, Monica.
Thank you very much.
So we go to the next part of the program, which is actually the theory on giving and receiving feedback. We did it practically now in terms of the feedback, but let's go quickly. Let's scan through the slides. Because it's more a matter of practicing. The theory is good, but practice is better. And this is what we do in Toastmasters. We keep practicing. The theory is here basically in terms of giving and receiving feedback. So we think, we assess, and we are confident about what we are going to speak. And listen. So in terms of receiving feedback, listen, consider, and so we are listening, we are considering, and we are asking questions. How can I improve my speech? That's the receiving feedback. And giving feedback is constructive criticism, as it is called. It is constructive. It is actually to make the person get better. Every time they're speaking, they're getting better. So giving feedback, some of the examples. Giving feedback is not about giving advice. It is just informing what I have witnessed in your speech. So instead of saying you need to improve your eye contact, we say that I noticed you were shaking. Instead of saying you need to stand up straight, we say it seemed like you were averting your eyes from the audience. So instead of giving advice, we are actually giving feedback. But this is what is the recommendation for giving feedback. And here are some of: take notes, be honest, use I messages, and focus on the behavior while the speech is being given. And these are all the things. We meet the speaker, we remember the timing, we are being supportive, we are considering the person. And if the person wants to know more details, we are giving them later. So in terms of what's next for the Speechcrafters, so the plan would be that from the next Speechcraft session, you would be evaluating the other Speechcrafters. So the next session would be about giving speeches on know your purpose. As we described, try to understand what type of speech are you going to give, and then you're evaluating each other. So you have seen how the evaluation was done today. So you know how it should be done. And then we practice it when we come back in the next session. we practice evaluation as well. Any questions?
Oh, yes.
Please go ahead, Monica.
In the documentation, I saw that there were 3 pages that we can use as evaluators. So we need to take those and also give some, I think one of them was like giving a number related to how good or what's the qualification for that part. So do we need to do that part also, or just like a general comments?
I would say as a practice, try and do the numbers as well. You can start giving the numbers as well. What do you think on a scale of 1 to 5? What do you think on different aspects of the speech? So I would say you should do the rating also along with the evaluation.
Okay.
The idea here is when we are evaluating others, in a way we are evaluating ourselves as well, because some of those things that we are seeing are within us also. So it's like a two-way system. When we are evaluating others, we are indirectly evaluating something in us as well. So that's the way to kind of go forward with that. But the most important thing is to be constructive and actually be honest as well, because if we are not honest, no one will improve. So, but being honest in a constructive way, I think that's the most important point here. And one-to-one discussions are very good as well in this regard, because in public it's not good to be, even if it is constructive criticism, in public constructive criticism might not go well with everyone. So then have a one-to-one discussion as well with the person and probably go into the details as well. Because the most important thing is everyone wants to improve. And unless we are honest, we cannot do that. So that's the concept here. Right, so we are probably around half an hour late, unfortunately, but I think you probably have gained a little bit, at least, I would say, from this session. So the last part was in terms of review the learning to be completed before session 3 and discuss preparation for next. So basically, if you have any questions, we can go through it with the guides as well here, with all the members here, experienced members. Any questions? We can probably take it for next 5 to 10 minutes and then we can call it a day. So please feel free to ask any questions you have. How you felt about the session today, about the Speechcraft, about the icebreaker speeches? What was your feeling before? What was your feeling after? Maybe share something.
I would like to know what was the timing for me. Because at the beginning, when I was doing this the first time, my time was around 18 minutes.
It wasn't 18 today, Monica. I think I wrote it at the bottom of your evaluation to you, 7:44.
Oh,
7 minutes, 44 seconds. So it was a little bit over, but it was very entertaining. So, and that's fine for a first time. That's not too bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was working in that, trying to fit this in the 6 minutes. But yeah, okay, I was close. Thank you. And yeah, it was a very good exercise for me. I really enjoy. I think when I find the correct topic, so I can just keep talking about, and I think that's the challenge, not to find the topic that really like us and that we feel passionate for that. I think that's a very important key.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What we notice in Toastmasters is that the Toastmasters who are passionate about some topic, they would continue giving speeches related to that topic in all their different stages and all their different projects. And that's okay as well. Because the most important thing is giving value to the audience. And if we are passionate about something, we will give the most value to the audience in that regard. Yes.
And it also helps you come across very authentic when you're talking about something that's important to you.
Absolutely, Siobhan. Thank you.
Are you ready for my next quarter of an hour installment on particle physics?
Watch all the cameras turn off.
Any comment from you, Caroline and Delma?
I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I really enjoyed today, and also for Somesh for all his advice and everything before I gave the speech, and I feel really like a sense of achievement, and also that I can learn so much, particularly from the feedback from Joseph, just on everything that has been said, and to go forward. I think it's really promising and really good for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline, for your feedback. Thank you. And it's great that you're taking it in a way that you want to get better at it, and that's the best way to take any advice.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for all of those who are committing time to being with us and giving your wisdom and advice and learning freely and giving us your support. So a big thank you to you all for giving your time. Yeah.
It's a pleasure, Delma. It's great to see. We are all on the same boat. If you want to use that analogy, we all want to improve our communication and leadership skills, and it's great to get the co-passengers in that journey. If you want to use that simile. So it's good to have, and this is what we want. Like, if you have someone who you know and who is interested in developing the communication and leadership skills, let them come and join us as well, and we all increase the number of co-passengers in this boat in our journey. Let's do that.
You made me aware of those words that fill. I notice I say so quite a bit, and it's something that I think everybody in our family does.
It's quite infectious, because I noticed today I said just two. I never did that before until Siobhan mentioned it a few weeks ago. Thanks, Siobhan.
I must blame Siobhan for the I suppose as well. My husband can't even listen to me anymore. Every time I say I suppose, I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't have said that.
It's amazing when these things are pointed out to you, though. You start hearing them everywhere, and you start hearing yourself use them. And it's amazing how many people in public life use so many filler words and get away with it.
Yes.
But we Toastmasters don't let them away with it.
But it's funny in a way that some speakers get away with it. They do it very well. But you will hear someone and it will just get on your nerves. And I have to say, one of the absolute worst interviewees I've ever heard is now. He's not a people person. What's his name? He's, I wouldn't say the founder, but he's the CEO of Facebook. I can't.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. If you ever listen to an interview with him, it is painful to listen to. Everything is a filler word. I'd say out of a sentence of about 20 words, maybe 12 of those would be filler words. And you just want to turn off the radio. Probably has something very relevant to say, but I don't want to hear
it. I must listen to him. I've never actually heard him speak.
Don't waste your time.
Don't. Okay.
Should have gone to Toastmasters.
Way more interesting.
It's a conundrum, I would say, isn't it? He's such a successful person in terms of his business, if you want to say. And
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. He's not successful for speaking. He's successful for something completely different. He's never
yes,
learned how to speak to an audience, you know, and he clearly doesn't have a good social media person or whoever supervises these kind of performances to tell him, listen, you need to stop this.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, we are 22 past 9, 22 minutes past the time. But I hope everyone enjoyed the session today. And
A very
any
good
questions?
session.
Sorry, Helen?
A very good session altogether and great speakers.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Great speeches. It was really entertaining and informative as well at the same time.
Well
Great
done
job.
to
Mash, do you
three of
want
you.
do you want a general evaluation?
Sorry,
no?
I totally forgot about that. Yes,
No,
please.
you don't have to have it if you don't.
No. We need to have it as part of the format of the session. So I would like to invite Siobhan to give the general evaluation of this session. Round of applause.
Thank you very much, Samesh. Thank you. So the general evaluation, oh my God. The first word there was a filler word. The general evaluation is where we do sum up of the whole meeting. The meeting, as Samesh said, started 6 minutes late, but that was no harm because when we joined, there was a lovely, warm, friendly, relaxed atmosphere. And Samesh began by encouraging and acknowledging the speech crafters, which was very appropriate. Our topics master, Helen, had very varied and really thought-provoking topics, which was brilliant. And she gave our speech crafters the opportunity to speak, but didn't put too much pressure on them, which is always a good thing. Her topics range from money to pseudocream, places to visit in Ireland and abroad. Samesh then explained the layout of the meeting and the expectations for the next session, which helped to keep everything very clear. I have to say, even prior to the meeting tonight, I was super impressed and intrigued by Caroline, Delma and Monica's speech titles. They really got me very curious and definitely wanting to attend tonight. Now, the general evaluation does not comment on the speakers. It's more the evaluators. So Joe evaluated Caroline, and I have to say all of the evaluators tonight, they did a fantastic job of having way more positives and predominantly positive things to say. Joe mentioned how Caroline achieved her purpose, but not, well, mentioned that she achieved her purpose, and not just that, he said how she did it. He commented on the structure, the logical thread that went throughout. The fact, which was really awesome, really, was that you had no filler words. That's so promising at this stage. Your pause, pace, awareness of the audience. He covered lots of things. I counted about 7 positives, main positives and all. And I did like the fact that he offered a recommendation, because I think Caroline is definitely ready for a recommendation. And that was in regard to eye contact. Anna did her evaluation of Delma's speech. And similarly, Anna had quite a few positives. She commented on structure, the opening, which was particularly effective, the opening question. I'm just awestruck and amazed at you, Anna, because I don't know if you were reading off a screen or what you were doing, but you were flying out the big words and the flow. Oh my goodness. I said, where did this person come from? Facilitating, how did you remember the specific details of her speech with a baby in your arms? I just thought this is taking multitasking to a whole new level. It's just incredible. I couldn't get over it. Well modulated, I can hardly spell it. Eye contact, how she lost and regained the eye contact. You were so on point. Anna, you should have been in the evaluation contest at the weekend. I think that's where you'll be next year. So you can bring Dahi along with you. And the world is your oyster. I just don't know how you remembered the specifics. And fantastic evaluators do remember the specifics of the speech. So that helps the speaker feel like they've really, truly been heard. And you did give a recommendation, because I again, I do think Delma's well ready for a recommendation at this stage. But the vein in which you gave it was very much that and you mentioned it explicitly, the potential for growth. It's not about finding faults. It's about offering potential for growth. And that was very important. And that was the eye contact and the gestures. And then Samesh's evaluation of Monica, again, lots of positives again, with regard to the title, the transitions, how natural they were, the descriptive storytelling style, which was fantastic, the amazing ending. He explained why the ending, and he explained exactly why that ending was so effective. So that was really, really good again. And Samesh too offered a recommendation in terms of slowing down and pauses, and just kind of glossed over that recommendation, because tonight was all about, and the icebreaker is usually about pulling out all of the positives. I was very interested there when Samesh went back to the slides, which was very, very appropriate and very well. I liked the way you had that set up, Samesh, that came in after we actually saw the example of 3 fantastic evaluations, then to go into the theory of it, because we could remember, oh yeah, that's where and how that was delivered. But interestingly, I noted that in those slides, there was the theory on giving and receiving feedback. But one really important aspect that I think sometimes we don't talk about enough is applying the feedback. I know it's a huge part of our pathways in our Toastmaster Club, but I think I just wanted to say to the Speechcrafters that when the evaluator gives the feedback and you receive it, the next vital step is applying it. And you're the one that has to decide what you're going to take on board and what you're going to apply. And what's very useful here is, this is where the positives are so powerful, is take those into account, because you can, those positives are what's going to make you a great speaker. If you really play with those and play to your strengths always as much as possible, and then by all means do consider, but for just a short while, the recommendations, and perhaps consider how you can apply that as well. But I would say at this stage, it's way more important to consider what you're already doing really, really good. And the examples from the 3 speakers tonight were that there's such amazing foundations already there for great speakers and speeches to come. So fantastic meeting so far, really enjoyed it, really positive and uplifting, and I'm looking forward to the next.
Thank you so much, Siobhan. It was amazing general evaluation, as usual. You do it the best way. If you want to do anything the best way, look at Siobhan, and we will learn. So that was a general evaluation. And what we will do now is, in the next session, in terms of know your purpose and the speech evaluations. So please do prepare another speech. And this is where when I was talking to Caroline in terms of the one-to-one mentorship that we were doing. What I was telling was to cut back on the content of the speech, because the Speechcrafters here, 3 of you are going to give how many more speeches? You're going to give speech on 17th. You're going to give speech on 24th. You're going to give speech on 31st of May. And then you're going to give speech on 7th of July. Sorry, 7th of June, the last meeting. So how many are there? Four more speeches, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have, the most important thing to understand is no need to have too much content in the speech, because there are 4 more speeches that you're going to give. But whatever content you have, you try to present it in the best possible way. That's the most important thing that we can try and implement. As Shivan was saying, I think implementation is a very important part as well. And implementation is not easy, because we all are used to our own styles, which comes very naturally to us. So if we want to go away from that style, it takes a good bit of self-awareness first, and then putting the new thing into practice, whatever that new thing may be. So congratulations on the icebreakers today. Let's give a huge round of applause to our Speechcrafters. And anything else before we break up for this meeting tonight?
And what's the direction for the next speech? Is there a description of what the focus should be?
It's the know your purpose.
Know your purpose.
Right. So even the icebreaker, you knew your purpose, isn't it? Like you knew that you were going to talk about icebreaker, but icebreaker was specifically intended to tell something about yourself.
Mm.
Now in the know your purpose, it need not be about yourself, but it can be about yourself as well.
Okay.
So it's up to you to decide.
Mm. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think all these descriptions should be up in that portal, isn't it, Samesh?
Yes, yes. Please have a look at the portal, at the Speechcraft portal. And actually you should do a completion request as well, because you have completed the icebreaker today. You can actually do a completion request in the portal.
Mm.
So every time you do a speech, you do a completion request. And what this is doing is Toastmasters have actually integrated the Speechcraft into the Toastmasters normal club meetings. So when you join the Athlone Toastmasters, if you decide to join after our Speechcraft sessions, or even during the Speechcraft sessions, if you're interested to join us, your speeches will be counted towards the Pathways program that Toastmasters has. So you will actually be progressing in Pathways as well when you're giving these speeches.
Okay.
So please do that. Send through the portal, you send in the request that you have completed the icebreaker.
Mm.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.